That light is distracting. Hey, tribe. We are live. I'm Shawnee's Net, the Anger Whisperer. For those of you who have yet to meet me, and for those of you who know me already, welcome back to our live. I'm so glad you're here with me tonight. If you're watching this live, go ahead and drop in the chat where you're watching from and put in one word to describe how your day has been. Just one word. I want to see where everybody is, how we're feeling today. I know today my day started like I was underwater. I slept late, but it was perfect. It was the amount of sleep that I needed. And so my day started a couple of hours late. And then it has seemed to be, I don't know, I thought it would accelerate at a different pace, but it's been kind of slow and I actually like it. So let's see what's coming in on the chat. Okay, nice. Is she the only one? Okay. So let me know how we're doing as we get people in the room, because apparently we only have a few. We're right at the top of the hour though, so I get it. All right. We are going to talk about something that has probably cost you sleep, relationships, opportunities, and peace. We're talking about anger. We talk about anger all the time. And more importantly, how to move you from triggered to triumphant. So that is the theme of the night. By the end of this masterclass, I want to make sure that you're going to know why anger keeps showing up, even when you promised yourself you do better. The three biggest mistakes that high functioning people make with anger, the ones that keep them stuck, and my signature peace formula to help interrupt the cycle in real time. We're going to talk about a simple, practical tool you can start using tonight when you feel yourself about to snap. Hey, Jordan. Hey, everybody who's coming in. And I know some of you guys I'll be able to call out by name. Some of you have your stuff hidden. I don't know what eyes are on me. So we'll see as we go through this. All right. And if you stay with me until the end, I'm going to share how you can work with me more deeply inside my coaching program so that you're not doing this alone, because you don't have to. You have full support, my full support, the full support of the Anger Whisperer. All right. I want to set the tone for tonight. I want to make sure that everybody understands that this is a judgment-free zone. Do I have some comments coming through? Okay. I understand that. Is he Gen? He's Gen Z. So they have a whole different language that we don't know about. They call people chat, which is cute, but odd. Anyway. Okay. This is a judgment-free zone, like the gym that you go to. If you've yelled, cursed, thrown things, given the silent treatment, shut down, or said things you wish you could snatch back out of the air, you're not a monster. You're in the right place. You're a human who's trying to cope. All right. So if you're listening, I don't want you to beat yourself up. I want you to get curious. I want you to ask yourself what that anger is trying to protect, and what would your life look like if you had control over your reactions. If that's something that you want, you're in the right place. So a little bit of an introduction about me for those of you who are new, and for those of you who are not, just bear with me because I'm talking about myself for a little bit. So my name is Shawnee's Net. Again, I go by the Anger Whisperer. I have a master's in marriage, family, and child therapy. I've owned and supervised a behavioral health agency. I've owned and supervised a domestic violence agency where we offer treatment for providers. Treatment for offenders. So we offered work in prevention. I've handled people in crisis. And now I work with high performing adults who are tired of letting anger write the story of their lives. Also, just this is a side note about what's going on, the Anger Whisperer on YouTube at Anger Whisperer now has 1 million views. Super excited. We are at 8,000 subscribers and 1 million views. And for me, that is a huge accomplishment because we went from 0 to this. So super excited. Thank you guys for your support. And I'm also the #1 anger coach in Las Vegas. Google me. Super excited. All right. So the things that I've done, thank you for letting me do my commercial too, by the way. For anyone who hasn't subscribed at Anger Whisperer, please subscribe to the channel. So you'll get all of our updates and all of our things. All right. So the reason I'm saying those things is I've sat with people whose relationships We're hanging by a thread because of anger. I've talked with parents terrified that their kids are going to think of them as the angry parent. That's how they're going to remember them. I've seen professionals losing promotions, positions, and respect because they couldn't control their reactions. And I've also seen those same people completely transform their relationship with anger to the point where they say, they still feel anger, but it no longer runs their life. That's what I want for you. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about first the cost of unmanaged anger. Let's talk about what anger is actually costing you. I want you to think about your life in three areas: health, relationships, and opportunities. And health, when anger is always simmering, it's like a phone that you charge forever and you never take off the charge. Your body is always flooded with the stress hormone. You're on edge, you're tense, you're exhausted. You might get headaches, stomach issues, high blood pressure, insomnia. All of those things kind of run with that because your body is in a constant state of fight or flight instead of being able to let that go when you struggle with anger on a regular basis. So type in the chat me if your body feels anger before your mouth even opens. And then we'll see if anybody is paying attention in there. And for everybody that I haven't greeted, hey, Ashley, hey, Aria, I'm not sure who else is on there. Did we remind India? Hey, Jordan. All right. And so hopefully we'll see some other people coming in too. And again, the people that I don't mention or that I haven't given a shout out to is because I haven't seen your stuff in chat. So
Ashley said me, Aria said me, and then Aria said me and Momo.
okay. Okay. Momo is a special little dog. So we'll give a shout out to Momo too. All right. So if we're talking about relationships, discussing relationships, it's so funny because people do remember. They have that you become your one angry moment can become the story that people tell about you for years. And I was talking about this earlier because people still remember. I was super angry when I was younger, up until I figured out how to be peaceful and how not to carry that anger around. But people have that story. Remember the time you went off at the restaurant? Remember the time you punched the wall? Remember when you didn't talk to me for a couple of days? All of those things. Anger can turn you from the safe place in the room to the scary place in the room. The incident that I'm talking about is when we had somebody who was we were out watching fireworks in San Pedro, and people still tell this story. And I think my kids were maybe the oldest was maybe 5. I can't even remember. It was a long time ago. 4th of July, standing on the ledge of this cliff in San Pedro, watching the fire show. And my niece brought this up like a week ago because I was very upset. We had carved out this spot early, gotten down there early, made sure that the kids were able to see because the kids were young at that time and small. And so they had to have a good view because I wasn't putting anybody on my shoulders. And this lady just came and stood in front of us and in our space like we weren't there. And so what people remember about that incident is, and I had to say some things that I probably shouldn't have, and I wasn't as kind as I would be now. And that's what they remember. Yeah, most everybody does because we had to move her out of the way and ensure that you guys were able to see the fireworks. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But you see that now, probably 40 years later, 30 years later, how old am I? How about so probably 25 years later? I don't know why I said so long ago. I didn't start having kids till my 20s. But anyway, probably about 20, 25 years ago is when that incident happened. And that's something that people still remember. Okay. I was not trying to throw anybody over the cliff. Anyway, so that incident. All right. And some of you are missing promotions, losing clients, or being passed up for leadership because you're known as difficult or unpredictable or too emotional. Not because you're not smart, not because you're not talented, but because people just don't trust your reactions. So nobody knows what's going to happen when you do get upset. But here's the truth that I want you to write down. Anger itself isn't the problem. Your relationship with anger is. And we'll get to how that happens and why that is here in just a bit. So we're going to cover the 3 big anger mistakes. Um, let's move into those 3 mistakes that I see high functioning people make when it comes to anger. Mistake number 1 is pretending you're fine. How many times have you asked somebody, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" This is when you say, "It's whatever. I'm over it. I don't even care." But your tone, your body language, and your energy say otherwise. People know that you're upset. You think you're avoiding conflict, but really you're storing conflict up. Like those passive aggressive people, I'm not going to name any names. And eventually it leaks out as sarcasm, attitude, or a full blown explosion. So type fine in the chat if this is you. Yeah, Tisha, we're not even saying anything about that. All right. So underneath that fine is usually hurt, fear, or feeling unheard. So is anything coming in the chat? Is anybody typing in that that's them? Fine. Because we do that all the time. If people, there's a thing now. If a woman says that she's fine, she's not. You ask her how she is, or if you're in the middle of a confrontation and she says, "Yeah, don't worry about it, I'm fine." Usually, that's the opposite of the truth. Okay. 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 So, thank you guys for sharing and being honest. All right. All right. So, mistake number 2 is justifying the outburst. This is if people would just stop playing with me, I wouldn't have to go there. Logic. It's where you justify the reason or your ability, the reason that you jump to your reaction as quickly as you do. If they didn't disrespect me, I wouldn't have reacted like that. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Terry's here, so welcome. All right. If they would just listen the first time, I wouldn't have to yell. So this is the trap. When your reactions become bigger than the situation, people stop hearing your message and they only remember your behavior. So you want to make sure that you can have a valid point and still have a damaging reaction. So we want to make sure that we avoid that. What we do in my program is we separate those two: your message, what you're trying to say, and your method from how you say it. Father should tell me, maybe it was my approach. My approach was messed up. Those aren't the words he used, but we have to learn how to adjust these things as we interact with people, especially if we want peace. So, mistake number 3 is you're waiting until you're triggered to try and control your anger. This is a huge one. People try to control anger in the moment when it's already at a 9 or a 10 and it's already too late. You want to stop yourself when you're at a 1 or a 2, not when you're at a 9 or a 10. It's like trying to learn to swim when you're already drowning. So, okay. Okay. Yeah. So you want to make sure, again, that we try to do it ahead of time. So this is why I tell people to practice taking time out, why you want to talk about your peace treaties and do all those things when you're calm, so that when you get into the moment, you're working more from muscle memory and you don't react in the way that you normally would. It doesn't matter if it's the truth, it's how you react to it. So the thing is, conflict always happens. Conflict is always out there. Things are going to happen. And so what you need to do is learn how to react to those things or how to respond to those things so you don't have that reaction. Because I'm not saying that these things aren't true or that your feelings aren't valid, because they are. But we want to learn how to approach people so that we aren't the one who causes any additional damage. Real emotional control is not built in the moment of the trigger. It's built in the daily habits and the systems that you put in place so that when your trigger comes, you already have a plan. You already know and you recognize that's the time when you can walk away. That's the time when you ask someone, "You know what? I understand and I get everything that you're saying, but I need to take a moment before I say something I may regret." So type plan in the chat if you've just been winging it with anger with no real plan. If you have people in your life that you struggle with that, then you probably need to limit your time with them. Limit the time that you spend with them, because you understand that they are going to be a trigger for you. And so I would let those people know, like, this is a problem with me and I want to make sure that we stay on whatever friendly basis that we've had. And the only way that I can do that is to make sure that I limit the time with you because of this, and explain to them. So that's when you say, "Hey, do you have a minute? Let me talk to you about something real quick." And you explain to them that that is the reason that you don't spend as much time with them as you would like to. And who knows, maybe because of that conflict and because of that conversation, you're able to spend more time with those people. All right. Either way, whatever works for you. So you want to make sure that you let them know, but you also don't want talking is thirsty work. So excuse me while I drink. But you also want to make sure that you let people know that if it's somebody that you have to cut completely out of your life because you don't want them to disrupt your peace, that you have that right as well.
This is a good question.
Okay.
One, Arya said you can remove those people from your life. It's not that you love them any less. You just love your peace more.
There you go.
And Eric, I don't know what his name is. I don't know how to pronounce it. On here, said, is there such thing as a good trigger?
Yeah, there are triggers well, all of your triggers are things that once you learn how to recognize them, they're things that can keep you from reacting in the wrong way. So triggers are good things. It's something that you can recognize, and you probably need to understand though what those triggers are. So as long as you understand what they are, then it's something that you can use as a tool, and how to understand what your coping skills are for that particular trigger. All right. Okay. So thank you guys for participating. Thank you for the engagement. I love it. All right. So we're going to talk about the peace formula. I talk about this, but I don't talk about it as often as I should. I don't know. When I first started this, people were saying you should say it all the time. But the peace formula is conflict times reaction minus emotion equals peace. The reason I wrote that and put it together, let me break it down for you. Conflict is something that happens. There's always going to be conflict in every relationship that you have. And conflict is a good thing because it teaches you things about the person that you're having conflict with. It teaches you about how they handle conflict, and it teaches you how you can handle it or how to better handle it if that's what you want to do. A comment, a tone, a boundary crossed, a disrespect, a trigger from the past. Conflict is going to happen. The reaction, this is what you do in response. So words, body language, silence, revenge, shut down, everything, anything that happens is your reaction in that moment. The emotion is what's underneath that reaction. So what's underneath that anger? Hurt, fear, embarrassment, shame, abandonment, or rejection. Most people live like this. Conflict times reaction equals chaos. Because that's what happens. What happened?
Eric has another.
Is this the Eric that we know?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because you're saying you don't know how to pronounce his last name. Go ahead.
Not his last name. His
But,
name on
okay.
Facebook or YouTube. He said for peace, it could also stand for proper education always corrects errors.
That's very good. That is a very good acronym to use for peace. I like that. So again, it's what? Proper education always correct errors. Very good. All right. I like that. All right. So the reason that people have that conflict times reaction ends up equaling chaos is because they never subtract the emotional weight. They don't pause to ask what it is that I'm actually feeling. What does this remind me of? Or is this piece about what happened now or what happened before? So you have to understand where you are, what it is, and understand what is causing that reaction. The peace formula says that when you learn to subtract the emotional charge from your reaction, you can stay in control no matter what the conflict is. And so that answers that question earlier. As long as you take your emotions out of it, you're able to handle that reaction no matter what. So our job together is to lower your automatic reaction and to help you process the emotion in healthy ways so you can get to peace. So what we do, and again, the reason that it equals peace is because we take that emotion out of it. We're able to understand exactly what the emotion is and make sure that that doesn't come into play. All right. So a simple in the moment tool. This is something that we're going to do, a tool that you can use tonight. And I call this name it, frame it, choose it. So the next time you feel yourself getting heated, name it. Ask yourself, what am I actually feeling besides anger? What else is happening? Am I hangry? Hungry, which causes anger? Is it that you're feeling disrespected, dismissed, unsafe, ignored, rejected, or embarrassed? Any of those things. I don't think I said this at the beginning, so I'm going to say it now. For those of you who don't know me and who are watching, I do tend to follow this Surface Pro because if I don't, I digress. And so I have to look at my outline, and that's what I'm doing. So put a word in the chat right now if this is what shows up for you. Like, if are you feeling disrespected? Are you feeling already frustrated? Are you embarrassed? When you name it, your brain moves from pure reaction into awareness, because in that instant, you understand exactly what's happening to you. And it may not have anything to do with the other person who's standing across from you or the conflict itself. It may just have to do with how you're feeling in that moment. Frame it. What story am I telling myself about this? Am I saying that this is something that they just want to do because they were trying to bother me? Are you saying I'm going to take this personal because this is a personal attack on me? What is it? So for example, they're trying me on purpose. Nobody ever listens to me. I always have to fight to be heard. When you frame it, you realize it's a story, and stories can be updated and changed. It's not about you. They're not trying you on purpose. People do listen to you. And you don't always have to fight to be heard. So you have to make sure that you reframe that story. The third one in there is choose it. What do I want to be? Who do I want to be in this moment? That's a choice that you can make. Not what do they deserve, but what reaction is aligned with the person I'm becoming, because we're trying to be more peaceful people. And so how does that align with the reaction that you're having right now? You got to choose that. A pause instead of a clapback, a boundary instead of a blow up. Look, we can't keep doing this. And so I have to make sure that I establish proper boundaries and that I stand on those boundaries. A conversation instead of a cold shoulder. Doesn't always require you doing quiet time or not talking to them or shutting down. That's emotional control. That is actually peace in progress. So again, make sure that we name it, frame it, and choose it. That is a tool that you can use from now on. All right. And then I know for some of you, this is landing deep because you've been trying to figure this out on your own for years. Maybe you've said, this is just how I am. My whole family is like this. I come from a long line. It's just my temper. But deep down, you're tired. You're tired of apologizing. You're tired of your kids or your partner flinching when you walk into a room in a certain mood. You're tired of missing out on opportunities at work because of your reaction. And if that's you, I want to make sure that you hear me clearly. You're just one decision away from starting a completely different chapter with anger, because it's really all in our relationship with it. I created my coaching programs because because of trying to calm down alone in your head is not always enough.
Eric wants to know what happens if you shut down because your emotions anger you.
Well, that's what we're talking about. That doesn't mean anger is a bodyguard emotion. So, whatever those emotions are that's leading to that anger, those are the things that we want to start working on. Because I don't want you to get upset. I don't want the anger to happen. And so we need to work on what those emotions are underneath it. Is it frustration? Is it hurt? Is it shame? Is it embarrassment? Is it guilt? Whatever that emotion actually is, we can work on that. And then you shouldn't be angry with yourself. You can just give yourself a break and some grace. Okay. All right. So I want to make sure that I cover what we're offering in December. We're opening up 10 spots for the December Peace Reset. So this is a emotional control intensive, and it's designed to help you interrupt your anger patterns, build real emotional tools, and walk into the new year with a different level of control and peace. And I'm offering it for $497 because I want to make sure that it's a trial. It's a bit for you to get the ability for you to get your feet wet, understand exactly what the coaching program is before you jump in full, if that's something that you want to do. And I want to be able to help at least 10 people be able to rein this in before the first of the year. So December is the whole month is a peace reset. It's designed to help you interrupt your anger patterns, build real emotional tools, and walk into the new year with a different level of control and peace. In the December Peace Reset, you get live coaching with me, not just pre-recorded videos, step-by-step face formula tools you can use at work, in your relationship or with your kids, and a homework and reflection prompts so that it's not just information, it actually becomes a transformation, and a community of people who get it. No judgment, just growth. Um, so if you're listening to me right now while we're talking about this, and you know that this is something that you need, then click the link in the description or in the bio and secure your spot. So once those 10 spots are gone, they're gone for this round. And who knows, we may do it again next year, but we may not. So make sure that you pay attention and that you get in when you can.
She wants to know, is it ever okay to just get mad and yell and just not care?
I mean, I'm not going to say anything is right or wrong, but if you care at all, then that's probably the reason that you're here. You want to make sure that you take a pause and that you think about those reactions. And yeah, spending some time, taking that time out, using that pause tool. If you're outside and you happen to want to scream and yell and not really care about what's happening, then go ahead and do that. And again, if that's something that you choose to do, if that's a coping skill for you, you're yelling, you can do that too. But if you're looking for peace, there's going to be some different tools that you need to use, some different ways to adjust that anger, if that makes sense. All right. Okay. And so, okay. All right. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, welcome. All right. So we're going to do a Q&A. So this is the time when you can ask those questions. Let me know what it is, and I will try to answer those questions from the chat. So you can put stuff in about managing anger in relationships, parenting and anger, anger at work, or questions about the peace reset or coaching options, and I'll answer as many as I can. Are there any questions in the chat, Tisha? Okay. So again, I'm going to do a little commercial. I'm super excited. And all the other things that I said in my bio about the fact that I have my master's, I did not talk about me being an author. Didn't know that was going to happen. It just popped up one day. And before I knew it, within, I think, a month or two, 3 books were written. From April to June, I wrote 3 books and started working on a 4th. So the one that's out right now is What Cheese, and we're going to do some more reading on that next week. I think we got to chapter 4 or 5 this last week. We met Insecure, Aware, Gotcha, Pilates, and Serene so far. And so I think we're at the point where the book it's interesting from the beginning, but it gets to a challenge. And so super excited. Next week, we're always live at 5. So next Wednesday at 5, we'll be reading some more of the book and doing some more questions and answers from the accompanying workbook. That word is always difficult for me, but anyway, we will talk about the workbook after we get done reading, and then make sure that you guys tune in to the podcast, which happens on Thursdays. And again, I want to thank everybody for the million views that we're at. So I knew I was going to wait and I wasn't going to say, that much about it. But in reality, we have made it to 1 million views. And it'll be even more tomorrow, which is crazy to me because that means that there are 1 million people who have been interested and who have viewed some of these videos that I have. And I hope that I'm hoping that our subscription list grows. So click on that subscribe button if you want to get any of our additional information. But thank you guys for all of your support and for helping me become the #1 anger coach in Las Vegas. I should feel like I should have a badge right now. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, go ahead. Oh, yay. Thank you. It's crazy because this was just the thought, and I have never done any kind of social media stuff or any kind of social media marketing. And so it still amazes me as I watch these things grow. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, people say they'll keep pushing it and doing the same things that you're doing, but this all happened. Yeah. The books and everything started back in April. So Thank you guys for being here with me. Thank you for your support, again, for your engagement. If there's any, remember, we're always live at 5. So if you have questions, if things come up, if you want to let us know something, and remember to join our community on YouTube. So I have posts in there and things that are happening and different videos that we share in there as well. So go check us out in the community, especially if you subscribe to us, because that is still open. And eventually we may have to close it once it gets too busy. All right. Oh, there you go. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. You got to keep doing these same things over and over again, and you will see results. So consistency is key. All right. So again, thank you guys for everything. Thank you for joining me here. And I will see you guys next week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to see the podcast at 6 o'clock. So I will see everybody on the other side. Joanna is going to tell me when I can stop talking. And remember, find me where you go.